It is currently March 30th that I'm taping this, and I'm like, why not do the wrap up? Okay, I'm technically still in the process of reading my last book that I'm going to get in for March and should be done by tomorrow, but we're going to get it out the way, okay? And my books are everywhere. I got some in my hand. I gotta get, I was like, what were all the books I read in March? I forgot that quick, so I had to go look at my reading journal for some of them, because some of them I forgot I read. But okay, so we're gonna pick them up, and then I'm also going to go over what I'm gonna just go ahead and read in April. We're gonna do it in one video. Let's knock it out. Okay, got more reading in this month than I thought I did. No 5 stars this month, but it was still pretty good. Still pretty good. Got a buddy read in, so I'm excited. So let's get into it. Lights, camera, action. Are we on? We're on. Okay, so I'm gonna jump right into it. So these are the books I read, and I actually got to 7 books this month, so I averaged just as much. Don't mind that. I averaged just as much as Aaliyah. I just saw her wrap up videos. I love watching wrap up videos. I don't know about y'all. I love watching wrap up videos, TBR. I love to hear what everyone is reading and their insight, what they learned from it, and their ratings. I don't know. It's just me. So let's go through all the books I read and what I rated. So I did a whole video on James Baldwin, Go Tell It on the Mountain. It was recommended by Shelby in the book club last month during Black History Month, and this was a great read. The more you read about James Baldwin, you will actually see that a lot of what he experienced and how he felt is put into this book. They're just, the names are changing from his real life stepfather and things of that nature. But his stepfather in this, I can't remember his name. But his real stepfather is named David Baldwin, but it's a different name in this book. I can't think of what it was, but it was such a great read. I rated it a 4.5. If you want to see my full review, go catch that video. Okay, let's talk about Baldwin. Go Tell It on the Mountain. Okay. Next, I read S.A. Cosby this month. Of course, anything S.A. Cosby is good. You're not going to be disappointed. Not so far. I'm going to get all his back catalog. Right now, all I have is 2 more books to read of S.A. Cosby, and that is The Darkest Prayer and Blacktop Wasteland. And so I want to get those and hopefully read it in May or June, because I also want to get his book that's coming out, King of Ashes, in June. So this was a 4.5 read. I didn't give it quite 5 stars, only because Razorback Tears was my first 5-star of the year, and it was just action-packed. You cannot, the characters are just memorable. Ike and Buddy, like they were on it. I mean, it was just after page, like, I think it was 16 or 17 for me. It was just nonstop. Can't put it down. This is also a great read. Couldn't put it down. Loved every second and every minute. There's some great jewels and pointers that you can apply to life. Give you some thought on how faith and how people behave in religion and use that to manipulate others. It's a good read for mapping out that. Then I read and skimmed so fast through The World as I See It, Albert Einstein. I gave this a 2 only because I didn't enjoy it. It was just like a collection of letters and a couple speeches and thank you notes that he wrote. And I really wanted to be more about his life, more biography, which I knew going in, it was like a collection of things, but I just wanted more so of an autobiography, biography feel. But it's a great reference book if you're writing a paper, you're in college, or you're doing a dissertation or a presentation on Albert Einstein. This is a good book to pull some notes from, but not as just a regular read. Then I read Trouble Is What I Do. This is my first, it was my first Walter Mosley. I have never read anything of Walter Mosley, been hearing about him again. Shelby in the book club had went to an event that he talked at, and I just loved it. Now this, I gave a 3. I would read his stuff again. It's not a bad read. It's just really short. if you're into like short books, short stories, things of that nature, this will be good. And I just wanted more. The characters didn't fully, I didn't get a full look into all of the characters here. Nothing really memorable happened. You had some funny moments in here, so it's really not a bad read. It follows a detective. He's like an underground legal detective, if you will, and he does sometimes he gets things done. He's like the underground Olivia Pope, if you will. I don't know if that makes any sense, but so it's very short, and so it didn't give me a full finish, a full start, or middle ground. It's just, it hits some things and then it leaves from it. And again, that's just probably because the book is short and it was meant to be that way. But I would definitely read more Walter Mosley. His writing style and the way he presents information is such an easy read. Hey husband, I'm just doing a wrap up. My husband came in, we got to talking, but it's okay, we're gonna keep going. Okay, so after Trouble Is What I Do, my first buddy read. I read This Could Be Us, and Kiana Chris. If you don't follow her channel, go follow her channel, okay? Go follow her. She does some great book hauls, reading wrap-ups, and book reads and things of that nature. So love her. She is so cool. We did a buddy read on this, and this is my third Kennedy Ryan's book. And Kennedy Ryan was a new author to me this year. And listen, I love her work. She's at this point auto buy or anything, and I'm going to get all of her books and read all of her backlog when I get a chance. And so this was such a great read. I love this follows Soledad's story. So if you are familiar with the Skyland series, the first book in this series is Before I Let Go, and that book is about Yasmin, and you have 3 friends, and so you have Yasmin, and then this is Soledad's story, and then the next book, Can't Get Enough, comes out in May. So excited. It's about Hendrix, and Hendrix, if you know, Hendrix is OD. She's about that life at all. She's like the fun friend. She's very outgoing. She's very successful, and she just brings all the energy. Soledad was the friend that was married to a guy who worked at a firm, and they were kind of well off. She has I think it's like three daughters, all girls, I want to say, and she was a stay-at-home mom who worked really hard. And then her marriage, she found out the husband was wild in this, and like the stuff he was saying to her at the beginning, I'm like, let's go. No. But she should have been left this guy, honestly. Even if you read Before I Let Go, she should have left at that point. But I rated this a 4.5. For me, it's between a 4.25, 4.5. It was so good. I didn't want to put down. Such a great read. But Soledad does get, she does this back and forth almost through the whole book. It wasn't to the end until the next love romance. It's another guy named Judah was in here, but the characters she write, again, are so beautiful, easy to read. Love the chapters. I did not want to put it down. It was awesome. But Real, I rated a 5. And Real was just, that was my third 5-star read of the first quarter. And so if the next book of Kennedy's have to be that marker or above. And so this is such a great read. I do recommend you reading that. I just don't want to give you all of it if you haven't read. I know there's some people who haven't gotten to the second book yet, and the third book's coming out. But let me know how you enjoyed it. Me and Kiana was going back and forth with our thoughts about the book, and that was super fun, super fun. So glad I got a new book friend. Yeah. Then I read The Three Mothers, how the mothers of Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and James Baldwin shaped the nation. I rated this a 3.75. It was a good read. This is by, I don't know if she pronounced it Anna or Anna Tubbs, but M. Tubbs. But it was such a great read. So many good nuggets. I didn't quite rate it a 4 because there's a lot of generalizations. There's a lot of kind of like personal conclusions that the author presents, and then she kind of goes away. She goes in and out of talking about the mothers to talking about the sons, and then she goes towards the end in the conclusion talking about Black women in general and what she feels that society lacked in the recognition of Black women, which that is kind of a generalized statement, because there are people who written books about Ida B. Wells, Fannie Lou Hamer, Phyllis Wheatley, who, you know, so many who get recognized. We just have to find their works and actually read it and recognize it ourselves. And that, for me personally, it's not anyone else's responsibility to educate our people. It's our responsibility when it comes to our history, just all across the board. But it's fine to have your conclusions. That's what her work is for. But I would encourage you to read this. You get some great nuggets. You do get some great insight on each of the mothers. And the craziest thing, all the mothers, these three mothers, outlived their sons. With James Baldwin's mother, Bernice, who lived the longest to 1999. Louise Little, why I say Little? Louise Little, she lived to 1991, and Alberta Christine King lived until 1974, I believe. And unfortunately, she had a pretty tragic passing, because she was murdered. The other two kind of passed away out of natural causes. And so, but it's so many good nuggets. They all were fierce in their own way. And you kind of get a glimpse of to how they lived their life and how their sons, it makes sense for how their sons came out to be who they are. The strength, the boldness, the audacity that they have and that they carry for us to defend ourselves, and the different perspectives of how they used what they had. So, still great read. Oh, and this was recommended by Lex Reads, okay? And the last book that I'm reading in March is The Housemaid is Watching. So glad to finish the Housemaid series by Frida McFadden. I am on chapter 15, which is on page 90. This book follows Millie. In all three books, Millie is pretty much the main character. Frida McFadden, her books so far have been, this will be my fourth read of hers. I've read Never Lie. I read the first Housemaid, The Housemaid is Watching, The Housemaid is Secrets. And this is the fourth one. And Millie, she just does she makes a lot of assumptions. I've noticed this book is about a decade after everything that happened in the previous books. And she is still like, oh, I should do this, or no, I should do this, or this is going on. Oh, okay, maybe I don't have to worry about that. It's like, girl, make up your mind. So she still has some immaturity. At this point in this book, she's married to Enzo, the gardener. If you read the first Housemaid, you know who Enzo is. And they finally are able to buy their own house, and then she's hearing things in the house, and then she's not quite fond of the neighbors, but she's trying to make do. So one of the neighbors keeps hitting on Enzo, and it's just, she does a lot of back and forth, and she's a little indecisive, but she makes a lot of assumptions, which leads her to talk her way in and out of mess, basically. So I'm excited to see how this ends and how it's wrapping up. But like I said, Frida is so easy to read. Her chapters are short. Most of her writing is dialogue, so that's why you can get through her reading so much. And so that's my wrap up for March. So let me know what you've been reading in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, share. Okay, I didn't introduce myself, but I'm Darnaya Darice, first name, middle name. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, if you are returners, you know, thank you for riding with your girl. But what did you read in March? What was your favorite read? As you see, I didn't have any 5-star reads in March. Okay, so let's get into what I want to read for April. Let me start by saying this. I haven't bought any new books yet, even though I have so many books on my wish list to get. And I have books on my backlist too. So all these books that I have right now, April is just going to be my backlist month. I did a video on 6 books I need to read before summer because I have books on the shelf that I haven't read yet. Just some of them, just a few. So these 9 I haven't read yet, but they've been on my shelf for a while. Except for The Perfect Sign. I was supposed to read that, but I didn't get to it. Okay, so we're going to move it to April. But how are we going to choose these books? So basically, my daughter's going to help me. We're using, she's not coming on camera, but we're using this little thing here. I wrapped up the titles, and they're opening up. Why, Maya? Okay. And she's going to choose and pick. We're going to do 7. So I got 9 books. We're going to choose 7 because it seems like I read about, like I said, 6 to 8 books a month. January was my biggest month because I had like a vacation time, and so I was able to read. All right, Maya, so can you pick? Okay, she's going to give me a little... All right, what's the first one? All right. Got the first one for me, and that is, okay, excited about this one. One Door Away from Heaven, and that is this book. All right, so I'm excited. I haven't read Dean Koontz. If you've read any of his work, let me know in the chat, but this is One Door Away from Heaven. I believe this is a horror book. Yeah, it's a horror novel, and I don't know anything what's going on about this. And this book is over 500 pages. This is going to be a heavy read. And it looks like his wording is long too. Or not a heavy read, but it may take a while to get through this. So, but I'm excited. It sounds like it's good. This book has to deal with Michelina Bellsong is following her. So I'm excited to get to this one. I don't want to read the synopsis of this. I did read it in that other video, 6 Doors. I'm making up stuff, y'all. In the other video, 6 books I need to read before summer, I read a brief of the synopsis here. But let me know if you read any of his work. All right, Maya, let's pick the second one. Which one you got for me? All right, my daughter picked this one. You mixing them up, right? Yeah. Okay, maybe. Need to know. Oh gosh. Okay, Sula. Sula is the next read. All right. Nice. Okay, let's see. That's Toni Morrison. All right, so I read what was my first read for Burma? That was The Bluest Eye. And I did a whole video on it. It was my first disappointing read, I think, from January. So go check out that video. And it's not a disappointment, Toni. Please, it's just hear why I say that in the book. But Toni's work is so giving you a critical look into the Black experience. She dives deep. So I'm excited to read this one. I heard many people suggest, hey, read Sula. It was pretty good. All right, what's the next one, Ma? See, you going away. I'm going to have to put the camera. She keep going away. Come back. All right. And okay. The next one. Ma, why do you keep picking Toni? Song of Solomon. Why did I know this is going to be picked? Okay. So the next read that I'm going to read in April, and I'm reading in this order. That's why we're doing this. Song of Solomon. And I normally follow, having the TBR helps me to stay on track. It just keeps me disciplined. Like, okay, you have to read this one and read it in that order because that's what you picked. And that's how I've been doing it. So I'm excited to read this one. This was another one that was suggested that, okay, if you didn't like The Bluest Eye to get into Toni's work, try Sula and Song of Solomon. So let me know if you read this one. I'm excited to knock it out because, like I said, I had her books on my shelf for a few years now. Just haven't read all of her books there. Okay, what's the next one? We're at 3. Okay. Mama Day. Okay, so my 4th book for April is going to be Mama Day by Gloria Naylor. Again, this was one of the books featured in my 6 books I need to read before summer. So if you want to hear the synopsis, go on that. But this is kind of like, it was given magical realism. I don't know. It was, yeah, postmodern literature, African American lit. So I'm excited about this one because it seems like Mama Day has some powers. Let's talk about it. Okay, so I can't wait to do some reviews on that. All right, that was book 4. What about book 5? Okay, thank you. Ah, Uncle Tom's Cabin. Okay, so Uncle Tom's Cabin, I have a new version of this, or a new print cover. This came out a few years ago by Harriet Beecher Stowe. As far as the cover, okay, so I got the classic. This is a classic. Now, this we had to read in high school, and in high school I didn't really pay attention to the book. I was not interested in it, and so I'm actually going to thoroughly read it, and excited to read and get my perspective on it, because I believe the main character, who people call the Uncle Tom, really wasn't what he was presented out to be. It wasn't, he was actually bold in many ways and things of that nature. So I'm excited to read and put my perspective on it. So I may do a review on that, so look out for it. All right, my book 6. Let's keep it rolling. All right, shake and bake, hey. All right, what we have? The Prince. Oh, you give me 2 back-to-back classics. Another classic. And if you see, this was bought together. And my other book I have that looks like these covers was Frederick Douglass, The Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, which I did read, but I may reread again because it's so good. But The Prince, never read this. My husband read this book by Niccolo Machiavelli. He said it was really good, some great principles in here, so I'm actually excited to read that one. All right, I need 3 more, y'all. Hang in there. See what we're reading for April. Come on, because you see, this is why you need to be on camera so they can see your energy. My mom's passing it to me. Okay, Cross. Okay, this was another one that was on my books that I needed to read. And James Patterson, I seen the show, so I love the hardcover, but I have seen the show. This was actually, I believe he said, it's the 12th book that he wrote in this series, and he actually has over 26 books that's in the Alex Cross series from his time he started to now, and it's a lot of books, and I'm not going to read them in order, so I'm going to read this one because it'll be fun. Okay, how many books is that, That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so we're going to save The Perfect Son. Okay, so I'm going to show you the books that didn't get picked. So we have 7. So those are the 7 books I plan to read in April. And I'm just going to have to move The Perfect Son. Okay, so The Perfect Son didn't get picked by Frida McFadden, which I do want to read this. I'm excited. I may try to squeeze it in if I have some time after reading what's on my TBR. And this is a true crime book, Elliot Ness. Again, I featured this on the 6 books I need to read for the summer, so I'll have to squeeze that in at some point. It's very thick. My second major was when I went back to school, because my first degree is in dance. I have a Bachelor of Arts degree in dance from University of Maryland, but I went back to get a second degree at the time, and it was in criminal justice, and I love reading different stories, investigation, all that good stuff. All right, so we have our TBR for April. Woo! This is some heavy reading. This is a lot of reading. I'm excited to knock out all the books in my backlist that I haven't read that was already been on my shelves. Next month, I'm hoping to be able to get all my new books that I really want to read. There's some Kenny Ryan's books that I want to get. There's some biographies and autobiographies that I want to get. And there's so many others that I want to read, like The Couple Next Door. I heard that was good. Also, the author Taylor Jenkins Reid, I believe that's her name, Taylor Jenkins Reid, the 4 famous quartet books I want to get and read those. So it's just so much, but we're going to get to it, okay? We're going to get to it. All right, so if you like this video, again, don't forget to like, comment, share, and let us know what you're reading. And yeah, I can't wait to check you out in the next video. And until next time, Always remember to keep rising.
Taking just be